Okay, so next I want to talk about self-care, but I want to add some caveats to that because if you're anything like me, you'll go into the fields believing that self-care is not terribly important. It's something that weak people need to practice. Or maybe you'll think of it as something special that you do for yourself. You'll get a massage once in a while. You'll go out to dinner with friends once in a while, and you'll have some very limited ideas about what constitutes self care. And so I want to encourage you to broaden your understanding of that. And I want to challenge you to consider that this is true for all of us. And ultimately, every professional in every occupation I've ever worked with, there's two inevitable outcomes. We invest in our holistic health and our well being, or we burn out. And if you're like me, you're a slow learner with a high pain tolerance. You're going to have to suffer before you come to terms and accept that self care is not optional. Self care starts with very basic things, as basic as nutrition, hydration, exercise, and sleep. And if you're anything like me, you're going to push those limits. You're going to work too much. You're going to sleep too little. You're going to eat food that's convenient. You're going to use way too much coffee or energy drinks, and you're not going to get enough water. And obviously, that's not sustainable. It's not healthy. It kills your immune system. It is in every single way maladaptive. And yet, we tend to glorify it. We tend to practice it. When I worked as a crisis worker, I was working an incredible number of hours every week. And it was almost this badge of honor that I could swill down a few Red Bull and grab something from a drive-through and chain smoke on my way to the intervention, pull off great work. And no matter how tapped out I was still capable of doing great things. And it's a perverse sense of pride. It's, yes, what I'm doing is unhealthy, but I achieve great results despite living in a way that's unhealthy. And of course, that adds up, that takes a toll. And every once in a while, I just get incredibly physically ill, or I just get to a place of compassion fatigue where I just felt like I didn't have anything to give. And so I don't wish those experiences on anybody. Obviously, you already know that it's important to eat good food and drink lots of water and exercise. But if you don't have the self discipline to make those things habits, then you're going to put yourself in a lot of unhealthy situations. So I hope that you will consider those very basic elements as being foundational to your success, to your life, to your career, to every relationship that you have. Once we go past the basics, I guess we could talk about work life balance, but I mean, the truth is, we're people who tend to live at extremes. So, what I want to say to you is you need to have things that you love outside of your work because otherwise, the way that you work becomes the way that you live. And the kind of people that you work with become the kind of people that you socialize with, and everything becomes gradually and insidiously about this one thing. So I hope that you get to have friends and family who are healthy. I hope you get to have a great partnership. But no matter who the people are in your life or how you relate to them, find things that you love doing that are completely and utterly unrelated to the work that you do. Whether that's a hobby, an interest, it has to be something that you make time for. And I didn't. Um, at this point in my journey, I literally schedule my self care. I've been doing it for years. I block off 20 hours out of my week. I like to challenge people to do the math. There's 168 hours in a week, but I'm constantly talking to people who tell me they don't have time to take care of themselves. And the first question I'll ask is, if we add up the amount of time that you spend on Netflix, watching television, or doing other mindless pursuits, what does that look like? And it's usually a pretty sizable number. The reason I've scheduled time off into my schedule, self-care time into my schedule, is because I proved over and over and over again that if I didn't schedule it, I wouldn't take it. It would just be a nice idea or a good intention. And I never, ever did it. So today, there's 20 hours out of my 168, which, unless somebody's dying, I'm not available for work. I'm not available for anything that drains me. I'm going to do fun things. And yeah, I recognize that a certain amount of that freedom and autonomy is financially, I'm able to do that. But this too is a challenge that I offer to people in the field. If you find that you're spending a lot of time on things that are really mundane and things you don't enjoy, whether it's mowing a lawn or shoveling some snow or doing housework, my challenge would be, is there an opportunity to work a few extra hours a week at a high rate of pay so that you can delegate and hire people to do things that are tedious, and it actually saves you time, it actually saves you money, and you get to do more of what you love and less of what you hate. It's amazing to me that I talk to people who bill for hundreds of dollars an hour who somehow feel like they just have to do their own dishes, they just have to mow their own lawns. And I'll say to them, well, that's not an efficient use of your time. So wherever you're at in your journey, let's take stock of your time and how you spend it. Let's take stock of your habits and how to make them more sustainable. Let's take stock of the amount of fun that you're having, because frankly, we need things to look forward to. We need outlets. We need to have laughter. And in the absence of those things, you're going to take yourself way too damn seriously. And it's going to have a progressively negative effect on your effectiveness professionally. So take it from somebody who's been there. And by all means, tell me about your experiences. Counseling@roadrunner.com.